What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking to you about one very important aspect of being a real estate investor. I don't think that this is touched on a lot, and I think that a lot of real estate investors may mess up in this area, and I think it's costing them a lot of money. My name's Alex Kaufman, and I own Teifke Real Estate with my partner Matt. My partner Matt and I, we own about 90 units located here in Central Texas. These are duplexes, single-family homes, mobile home park, small commercial multifamily, quadplexes. We own a property management company as well, and we've done a lot of deals. And one of the things that me and Matt always did was focus on buying the next deal. We need to get more capital, let's go find the next deal. Get more capital, buy the next deal. And as soon as we'd buy these deals, we wouldn't necessarily work on the asset management side. We always trusted property management, knew that they were going to do a good job, but nobody would oversee our assets like me and Matt would. So overseeing the asset management side was something that we missed for a few years, and we're not going to make that mistake anymore. Asset management is a key part of owning real estate. It's what's going to ensure the property performs to the best of its ability. It's going to ensure you don't overspend on expenses. It's going to ensure that you save a lot on taxes and you maximize cash flow. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to go over 3 key points that I think you need to know when managing your assets. And if you want to learn how to do this yourself, I suggest you start today. Or if you're a new real estate investor just getting started, I suggest that you learn this for your first real estate investment and your last. Managing these assets is going to be the key to your success. But before we keep going, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any other content. All right, so the first key point in managing your assets is going to be managing the property manager. I know that you hired a property manager so that you didn't have to deal with this, but it's really important to oversee the person who is managing the property. The property manager's job is to collect rents, reduce vacancy, keep the units rented out and at market rents, reduce operating expenses, manage the contractors, manage the tenants, get leases signed. They do a lot of the tedious work, but it's important that you oversee the property manager to make sure that they're doing it the right way and also that they are going to watch out for your bottom dollar. The property manager doesn't necessarily own this property, but you do. So if the property manager is spending $500 more on a repair than you would, the property manager might not really care about spending that much more on maintenance or other things like you, the owner, would. So some key things with a property manager is to set budgets with them. When overseeing the property managers that manage our assets, I really want to set budgets with them in terms of what we allow for vacancy loss, what we allow for rent loss with rents that are below market rents, what we allow for budgets with maintenance, what we allow for budgets with other expenses that end up costing us a lot of money. So set these budgets with your property manager and make sure that they stick to them. Another thing that I do with our property managers on a monthly basis is I go through the income statement. I want to know what they spent money on, when they collected rents, did they charge late fees, did they charge the pet rents, what did they get for the deposits. We look at every single line item on the income statement. They know that we have this reoccurring meeting. They know that if there are questions or things that maybe we wouldn't approve of as owners, that they're going to have to answer for it in this monthly meeting. It's not necessarily a meeting that's designed around strict accountability, but it's a time for me and the property manager to meet up, discuss, get on the same page. They can ask me any questions, they can get approvals for things that they need approvals for, and it allows me to get the full picture of what is happening with our property. When I'm looking through the income statement as an owner, I may not know exactly what this line item was for, or if the line item is a little vague on an expense or a repair. I may not know all the answers. In this meeting, it allows me to go through the income statement, go through each line item, and hold them accountable for things that I may have questions on. We can also discuss any renewals that are coming up. What are we going to charge for rent increases? Do we want to go ahead and get this tenant out, repair the unit, and try and get market rents and put it on the market? This meeting allows for an opportunity for everybody to get on the same page to ensure that the property managers not only do what they're supposed to, but also have everything that they need in order to do their jobs well. The next point to ensure good asset management practices is to have good financials, good record keeping. So with each of our entities that owns different properties, I have folders in a Google Drive, or you could use Dropbox or any other file storage system. I have all the entity information inside the Google Drive. I have the LLC docs, I have the EIN number, and I have the operating agreement, either if it's with just myself or with our partners. Inside the Google Drive, I also have a folder for taxes. If I've owned this property for a couple of years, that means that I've filed taxes on the entity for a couple of years. I have the tax returns, the K-1s, and any other tax-related documents stored inside these folders just in case I need to use them at any time. The next thing I like to keep is an updated spreadsheet, or you could utilize the software that provides accurate financials that are up to date. So each time we get these reports from our property manager, we upload the expenses, the revenue, the current rent roll into this spreadsheet or the software. The purpose of doing this is that at any time, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's a month from now, whether it's 6 months from now, anytime I pull up this spreadsheet, I can get accurate data and accurate financial information on how my properties are doing. I want to see what the rents were for the last 12 months. I want to see what the expenses were for the last 12 months. How much are we spending on utilities? What is our tax bill? What is our insurance payment? What is our mortgage payment? When is our mortgage payment going to be due and maturing? It's important to have all this information in one place to be able to analyze it at any time. That way we know how our properties are doing. If the market starts to take a downturn, or if leases are coming up for renewal, I can get an accurate financial picture of our properties at any time in order to make decisions on what we need to do to ensure that we continue to get the return that we desire. It's also important to keep accurate financial information, entity docs, tax returns, surveys, appraisals, T12, rent roll in one place, because you're going to need it. When you go and you file your taxes, your CPA is going to need all this information to file your taxes properly. If you're going out to get a new loan, or if you're looking at securing some other type of financing with the deal, or even if you're looking at selling the property in the future, having all this information will help you save a tremendous amount of time, headache, confusion when preparing whatever documents you need in order to accomplish what you're looking to do. And anytime you provide a financial picture like this with all the data in an organized fashion and all your entity information in an organized way, presenting this to lenders will also look good and give you more credibility. As opposed to you telling them, you know, I'm not too sure what it's doing, or I'm not too positive what our performance is, or I really don't know what our projected returns are going to be. You can provide them this packet that you've put together and kept updated every single month since you've owned the property, and it will help you out in the long run. Last but not least, number 3 is to seek cheaper debt and to attempt to lower your operating expenses at any time that you can. One of your highest expenses as a real estate investor for the properties are going to be your debt, your interest payments, your mortgage payment, your property taxes, and all of your operating expenses, of course. That includes things such as maintenance, management fees, taxes, insurance, and utilities. Let's say you bought the property today, and today's interest rates are looking at about 7.5%, maybe even 8+%. So if you bought the property at an 8% interest rate, and 3 years from now, interest rates lower back down to 4.5%, maybe even 4.25%, you can refinance the property to get a lower mortgage payment. You can also do things such as a cash out refi, pull your cash out to go buy more deals, but you always should look for opportunities to reduce your debt expense. The debt's going to cost you a lot of money, and you should always be building relationships with banks and lenders to see what you can do in order to reduce that mortgage. The other thing is reducing your operating expenses, and this is where your meetings with your property manager on a monthly basis are going to come into play, and also having accurate financial information on the properties at all times. That way you can make accurate readings and see what's unnecessary, where you could save expenses, or maybe even charge back expenses to the tenants in order to reduce that expense for yourself. One example of this that we've implemented recently with our property managers is pest control. Pest control on 2 apartment buildings costs about $700 a year. It's not a lot. These are small commercial multifamily, but the property manager brought it up in our previous monthly meeting, and she asked if I was okay with approving this expense. I told her I was. I wanted our tenants to be happy, but I asked her if it's possible if we could charge this back to the tenants. Now, because it's an apartment and they're just doing the exterior of the entire building, it's hard to charge that back to the tenants on, you know, this unit had roaches, this one didn't, this one had pests, this one didn't. So what we started implementing with all new leases is that they pay an extra $10 a month on their rent for their pest control expense. We charge it to all the tenants. This comes to us, and we're actually making a little bit of money here. They're getting their pest control taken care of. Me, the owner, I'm not having to come out of pocket for this. They're going to reimburse us for it, and we'll actually slightly make just a little bit of money. So not only are we reducing our expenses, but we're increasing our income. Another way of doing this is pet rent. We charge a pet deposit for people who want to have pets in our units, but we also charge them $25 a month per pet for pet rent. People typically don't fight this. If you are getting good quality tenants and they have pets and they're going to take care of the property, they typically don't mind paying the extra rent charge for their pets. This allows them to have the pet in the property. This allows me to reduce any expenses I might have cleaning up after this pet, and we get a little bit of income on top of it. So always look for creative ways to increase your income, decrease your expenses, and refi into better debt to ensure you get more cash flow. Asset management is something that I thoroughly enjoy. I really want to make sure that we're not losing money. I want to make sure we're making every single penny that we can, and I want to ensure that the people who are overseeing our properties are doing a good job. Taking this step as an asset manager for your properties will not only give you peace of mind, you'll have clarity about your properties, how they're doing, but it'll also set you up for success and ensure you make money for forever with your real estate investments. Thank you guys for joining today. If y'all have any other questions about asset management, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. I promise to personally respond to every single one. Until then, we'll see you in the next video.